What's up, YouTube? Brad Hoover from Rants or Us here. Alright, so it looks like Kumail Nanjiani, who plays in the upcoming Eternals movie that I think comes out on November 5th, is basically saying we're upsetting the right people. And by upsetting the right people, what he's meaning is actual Marvel fans. That he's basically saying is a bunch of bigots because, you know what, if you have a negative review about his movie, then you're automatically a bigot. Supposedly, there was a lot of LGBTQ comments, supposedly that flooded. I think it was IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, I forget which one, flooded, uh, uh, basically bombing the movie with 1-star reviews. Um, I've read a lot of reviews for this movie, and I don't think I've even recalled one negative review that even had anything to do with LGBTQ at all. It was all that the storyline was predictable, that the storyline was just basic, that the characters were forgettable, that the movie really didn't play that big of a role in the MCU as a whole. So it kind of just stood out on its own and doesn't fit with the narrative that the MCU had been, basically going with for the last 10 years of connecting all the movies into one grand scheme of things. A lot of people, that was their biggest complaint when it come to this movie. But according to Kumail Nanjiani, it's all about an LGBTQ couple. That is the reason why fans are hating on this movie. Now, always find this, I always take this personal, and I always really despise actors and actresses when their movie is looking like it's going to tank or does tank. And the first thing that they go to is attacking the people that they want watching their film or their series. It never works good for anyone. But it's almost kind of like a backlash of a supposed backlash in a lot of ways when it comes to Hollywood. Hollywood cannot stand the idea. A lot of these actors, actresses, producers, directors, and so forth cannot stand the idea that you might not think that they're as creative as what they think they are. So they put these narratives that if you just don't like their movies or you don't like their series, well, you're just a bigot, a racist of some sort, simply because you don't like their creative control and what they've done with maybe a beloved franchise. I keep always going back to this. As a Star Wars fan, we all hated Rey not because she was a one-dimensional character, not because she didn't really add anything to the story as a whole, not because she was a terrible leading actor or actress, but because she was a woman. Of course, it had to be that. That was our biggest concern with it. Even though, you know what, a lot of Star Wars fans loved Leia in a lot of different ways. They thought she was like one of the main characters, loved that main character, respected that main character. But then Rey comes along, and all of a sudden, all Star Wars fans supposedly hate women. That is just Hollywood at its best, or at its worst, I guess you could say. But yeah, let's just go ahead and let's just read what Kumail Nanjiani has to say. And look, I personally don't believe that it has any merits, but hey, let's just go ahead and let's read about it. It says Brian Tyree Henry's character Phastos in the upcoming Eternals is the first openly gay superhero in a Marvel movie. I love how Marvel says that. The first openly gay character in a Marvel movie. Like there's never been an openly gay character in anything before. That Marvel is the first. That if it's not done in a Marvel movie, then it's never been done. I love their first. They're eventually going to run out of it, and I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to be having to make up crap from this point on. Because, look, it's like they completely and totally forget that Batwoman is, like, still on air right now. even though it's like terrible ratings. They're like first gay character. Well, hey, what about the lesbian character on the CW? What about all of the Arrowverse at least having, a lesbian or gay villain, hero, or so forth in every single one of their series? What about all of those? Of course, all of that is forgotten simply because Marvel has to be the first. And if it's not done in Marvel, it's just not done. Period. They have to be the first. It says, anyways, Kumail Nanjiani isn't concerned about criticism regarding LGBTQ representation in Marvel's Eternals. The actor responded to Marvel fans who allegedly, I love that word, allegedly left negative reviews of the film on IMDb before its release in theaters, according to the Direct. Some of the now deleted complaints and negative reviews. The now deleted complaints and negative reviews, why were they deleted? Why not just show them to the world and let the world decide whether or not this is actually a response from bigoted fans or if this is just your way of kind of building up the movie or trying to not just build it up, but to also, if it fails miserably, to have an excuse of why it failed. But I digress. Some of the now I've already read that. Some of the now allegedly pertain to the change in the sexuality of Brian Tyrese Henry's Fastos, who is the first openly gay superhero in Marvel movies, but who was not in the comics. Now, I wonder why fans, and look, the Eternals aren't really popular characters in the first place, but comic book fans do a lot of times have a problem with changes. I don't blame them. You grow up, especially when it comes to like Batman or Superman or one of these more known characters. Whenever they do like some kind of weird change when it comes to things, or a change that just feels like they're doing it to just, I don't know, bring out some representation for literally no apparent reason. You could create new heroes. You could take some of the characters that are already, Blade comes to instance, that are already, let's say, black, or, some of these characters that are LGBTQ, like Batwoman, take those characters and add on to those characters, make those characters A-list. But no, they don't like to do that because they don't think it'll work. So basically, because Twitter, which complains about all of this representation, doesn't exactly go see the movies. It's just fans that go to see the movies, and fans don't really give a crap if Brian Tyrese Henry's Fastos is gay or not. Like, they want to see an interesting movie. That's a side thing. Who cares if he's gay? Like, I don't think very many people actually do. I think if they have any complaint maybe to that, is that he wasn't gay in the comics. It says Nanjiani, who stars in the film as one of the Eternals, tweeted a response to the news on Thursday. Looks like we're upsetting the right people. Eternals opens November 5th, he wrote in the since deleted tweet. Why did he delete the tweet? It's what I would love to know. Look, if you're going to say it, own it. Because basically what he was trying to say is I'm not talking to bigoted fans. I'm just talking to Marvel fans that might be disappointed in this movie. That I'm going to call you a bigot if you don't go see this movie or if you don't support this movie. That's basically what he was trying to say. It says Nanjiani's own character, who was originally portrayed as a Japanese samurai in the comic books, but was updated to be an Eternal, posing as a Bollywood movie star. Okay, this is the problem that I have with this. You go from like one stereotype to a completely different stereotype, and somehow that is more 21st century. Why did you have to go with a Bollywood movie star? Like, why did you have to go that way with that character? I totally get it if you don't want to do the Japanese samurai thing. I still think that would be really awesome if you would have done the Japanese samurai thing. But to go from that to Bollywood movie star because he's Indian seems like seems like you're not going in the right direction, right uh, the right progression when it comes to progress uh, of getting away from stereotypes. Anyways, it says in 2019, Marvel president Kevin Feige confirmed Henry's character was gay, making him the first with an LGBTQ storyline in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wow. So amazing. So brilliant. This is, I mean, look, I don't know about y'all, but when I think of a Marvel film, man, man, they just need, um, gay characters, this characters, they need characters in wheelchairs, they need characters here. That everybody needs to see themselves in a Marvel film, or you cannot enjoy a Marvel film. Or you can't enjoy a Marvel character if that character don't look like you or have the same sexual orientation as you. You can't identify with that character. Says no one except people that are on Twitter. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't. Representation is a notable work that Hollywood is trying to do. I'm not hating on that at all. I'm hating on the obsession of that. That is, it almost feels like a cult to a certain extent when you are so concerned by the color of someone's skin, which to me feels racist, or bigoted when it's, sexual orientation. Who cares who Fastos sleeps with? Like, why is that something that's a big deal? Why is People magazine even speaking about it? Like, I feel like in the 21st century, this shouldn't even be things that we write about. Like, I feel like we're well past that point where no one cares except Hollywood or people that just think better of themselves and think that everyone is downtrodden and everyone needs to be put up on pedestals and so forth. That's what I get out of this. I feel like they don't even take the same groups that they supposedly are working to progress further in Hollywood. They're not even taking those groups seriously because at the end of the day, they want those groups to be stereotypes in their movies, and they don't care if they are stereotypes, and they don't care if it progresses that cause in any form or fashion, as long as at the end of the day they can get credit for saying we were the first to put, I don't know, fill in the blank on the screen. That's basically where we are in 21st century Hollywood, 2021 Hollywood. That is where we are now, caring about who someone sleeps with, caring about what color their skin is. Seems kind of 1950ish, but hey, you know what? Hollywood, you say that's progress. I say it's racism and bigotry, but hey, call everyone that hates your movie bigots. That's fine. I guess that is the actual trend of 2021 Hollywood. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments down below. Do you feel like this is even a story? Do you feel like really who Nanjiani is really insulting is not bigoted people, but just people that had seen either the trailer or the movie and just thought, you know what? This movie sucks. And it looks like it's going to suck. So therefore, I give it a 1-star review. Or did it even happen in the first place? Kind of weird. It's just all deleted and no one's really responding to criticism anymore because supposedly the criticism was deleted in the first place. So whatever. It is what it is. I personally think it's made up. I personally think it's a way of trying to get people to go see this movie, and also as a way of if this movie fails completely and totally, an excuse of why it failed. It wasn't their fault that they made a bad movie. It was our fault because of our bigoted ways, because we didn't like everything that was in the movie, or because we just didn't like the movie just in general. Anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.